Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a pick a card reading for the collective. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. So these are readings all about what your dreams are wanting to tell you. The deck that the cover art is from is the Fan-Toad pack. So I'm going to hold up the cards. It's going to be pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. This is pile 1, the plant. Pile 2 is the bottle. And pile 3 is the ladder. So just meditate on those for a moment and just go with what your gut is telling you, which pile speaks to you, or you could watch them all. It's up to you. And I will see you at your reading. All of these will be time-stamped in the description box below. Hi, pile 1. This is for everyone who chose the plant. The plant. And accompanying it is this beautiful black crystal. This is black tourmaline, and it has a few kind of quartz inclusions there. Tourmaline, black crystals in general, and tourmaline is a crystal of protection. Think of it as something that kind of absorbs negative energy. It's one of these crystals that is very powerful. Sometimes it's hard to use this around any kind of technology. It might block some kind of EMF signals, and it's good to sleep with tourmaline or sleep around tourmaline because of its protective qualities and deflecting that. So I just wanted to show you, this is in the shape of a hexagon. Hexagons, as we often see them in beehives, are one of the most efficient shapes in nature. The hexagonal shape is one of the most efficient. So there could be something that speaks to you regarding how you're approaching a situation. This could be what your dreams are talking to you about. Finding the best possible solution to a problem you may be encountering. But with the plant energy, obviously this talks about growth, but I'm more drawn to what's happening underneath the surface with the roots. We see very little of what's happening under the ground, but it's this idea that as far up as a plant will reach above the surface, its roots will go just as far down. And the fact that there is this kind of inequality between what is above ground and what is below with regards to the picture, there's something significant to that. Almost as if you might not be sure of your footing. There might be something here where, you know, maybe on the outside, to the outside world, you could be a very high performing person, excelling at a lot of things, being a trailblazer of some sort. But it's almost as if I feel a little bit of imposter syndrome, like when we feel we don't deserve something, or we don't deserve the status we have or the place we have, or not that necessarily that you don't deserve it, but can you maintain it? So in a job scenario, if you've just gotten a promotion or a new job of some kind, or entered into a new field, a new arena, there could be this sense with you that you don't know, you don't have all the answers yet, you don't know how to do everything yet, and maybe you're expected to bloom and blossom much faster than you would normally be accustomed to. So I'm going to get 3 cards from the tarot. This is just a reading to see, you know, how Spirit is trying to help you through your dreams kind of tackle this problem. 3 cards out. The first one is the Two of Inspiration, or the Two of Wands. You did get this card in reverse. This is what it looks like in the upright. The Two of Inspirations, or the Two of Wands, talks about somebody who is kind of at a crossroads, like kind of just trying to decide which direction to take. Both, or, you know, if you're looking in between left and right, both might seem equally appealing. It's almost as if you don't have enough information and you're searching for that information. But when the card is reflected in the reverse, it kind of tells me that you're more or less leaning into a certain direction. You've gathered up enough information to be able to make a decision that is in keeping with your better judgment. So at least that's good. And with the Ten of Inspiration here, I feel that imposter syndrome again. It's almost like you could be having dreams where the scale might be off. Things might seem a little larger than life. Kind of feeling a little Alice in Wonderland vibes as well. A little Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Spirit just gave that to me. Where maybe it's not even your physicality in your dreams, but it's your feeling of what your demeanor is in your dreams, that maybe you're being made to feel very small in comparison to somebody else who is appearing in your dreamscape, right? Like this. I was saying everything kind of above ground seems larger than life, seems really, really big and showy, and everything below ground seems very small and kind of unrealized. There's something to it. I find there to be some parallels here. The Ten of Inspiration, or the Ten of Wands, talks about letting go of a burden, letting go of something that weighs heavy upon you. Like here, if I remember from 5th grade mythology class, studying the ancient Romans and Greeks, I believe this is called an amphora. An amphora, so kind of a jug that holds, that contains something very precious. So most of the time it was wine, right? It could have sometimes been fruits. They used, the ancient Greeks and Romans, I think it was more Greek though, used amphoras to preserve fruits. So they would pack them with fruits and then they would put clay on top and it would create this airtight seal, and the fruits would stay good for months. I don't know why that's relevant to you. You could be eat Greek or Italian or have roots there, right? And we're talking about roots again. So there is some feeling of being dwarfed, of being made to feel small, because I can't help but be attracted to kind of the lesser visual aspects of these images. There's something about a situation where maybe you don't feel as empowered, right? But Spirit is kind of reminding me that these two are part of the same entity. These roots are part of this beautiful unfolding, and vice versa. So it's kind of, and also with the experience that we've gathered, life experience that we've gathered with the Ten of Wands, it creates the person that we are today. We wouldn't be the person that we are today without all of those minutia of experience, the day-to-day. So it's almost like Spirit is saying, you have a right to feel confident in yourself because you have things to back it up, right? You do have a foundation. You may not feel that it's as steady as you would prefer, but it's one of these situations where we're not always going to be prepared with the, because there's not always going to be a best case scenario. Sometimes we just have to jump in, try our hand at something, throw our hat into the ring, try and fail and try again. So Spirit is showing me, yes, it might seem like an uphill battle, but there is something to be said for tenacity. Plants start off as tiny little seedlings, and they burst through the darkness to find the light. It's almost like this energy here, right? There's this kind of void energy, and then there's this punctuation of color. There's exploration here. The end with the Four of Materials, Four of Pentacles in the reverse. Four of Materials talks about holding on very tightly to finances, to resources, material world items, could be people as well. The Four of Materials, Four of Pentacles can be spoken about as the miser of the tarot. Somebody who's unwilling to share, unwilling to put themselves out there, but you got this card in the reverse. So as difficult as this moment, and I am going to just call it a moment because it changes minute by minute. I'm reminded of like how I have to water all my plants after I film, and I don't see their growth immediately. It's almost like I wake up and a week later, one of my vine plants or something has grown 3 inches, and it's just like, when did that happen? Where was I? Why wasn't I paying attention, right? So it's almost like Spirit is reminding you that when you open yourself up to possibilities, when you give of yourself just a little bit, then you get things back in return. You get back experiences, conversations, interactions with the world, and incrementally you will see progress. Spirit sees the progress. You might not see it at the increments, but over time, it will result in something. Over time, you'll be able to see, look at how far I've come, day by day by day. So I'm going to pull one last card to try and see where your dreams could be helping you at this time. These themes that are going on in the dream space. What's your advice, Spirit? The Magician in reverse. So it's interesting because especially in this card, this for me is the ethereal, the psychic, the dream space. And the card is in reverse. It's almost like saying they've given you a lot of clues in your dreams, and now it's time for you to flip this card upside down, become the master manifester, bring it out of the dream space and into the real world. Out of the dream space, as above, so below, out of the dream space into the real world, because right now it's stuck. So I'll give you an example really quick. It's I have had a lot of work-related imagery in my dreams, and I don't usually, and it's not like, sometimes my job can be stressful, my day job, but sometimes it's just it's just my job. Like it's not my whole life. But every once in a while, people from my job will crop up, like in scenes in my dreams, and I could just leave it there. I could not speak about it again. I could just, chalk it up to, oh, I'm overworked and I'm overtired, and it just bled into my subconscious, right? Or I could go into work the next day and think about the person that I dreamt about and just say, hey, just catch up. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Like, everything okay? Yeah, it's just like, I saw you. It's weird. I know it's weird, but like I saw you in my dream last night, and you seemed really, like upset in my dream. And I know it's just a dream, but I just wanted to check in, right? So, and I do that. That's not a mock conversation. That's literally a conversation several times that I've had with people. And sometimes they're fine, great. But maybe it was just the effort of me bringing it out of the dream realm into the real world and making something happen, making a connection. Just say, hey, somehow, some way, I was thinking of you. And I wanted to let you know that, right? So that's just an example of how the magician in the upright can bring things from one state of reality into this reality. And so whatever it is that you may be kind of seeing imagery of, bring it out, write it down. Even if you don't share it with anybody, write it down, journal it, draw pictures of it, meditate on it, because the answers are there. But the most important thing is, please do not feel this imposter syndrome that I'm picking up on. You're where you are for a reason. So just trust it. So that's your reading, pile 1. I hope that it resonated. I'll see you next time. Hi, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the bottle. The bottle. And the crystal that I chose to accompany this card, this is a black obsidian crystal, and it represents the Merkaba shape, or the Merkaba. Some people say it Merkaba, some people say it Merkaba. So essentially, this shape is 2 pyramids that are kind of like, one's facing this way and another is upside down, and they're kind of combined together. It's a sacred shape, and it's supposed to represent the energetic soul vehicle. It's the kind of shape, or the vehicle, energy vehicle, that one would enter into to travel as a spirit throughout time and space, throughout dimensions. And I did a meditation once where I could imagine, I could see the Merkaba around me. It spins, imagine that it spins so fast that it's almost invisible, right? So it's just this energetic shape. It's amazing though, because both of these things would suggest that an entity would be inside of them, would be inside of the shapes. Whereas this shape would take you to the far reaches of the universe, interdimensionally. This shape is forever limiting. It actually reminds me of something very morbid. One time, you know, I don't want to make it morbid, but like Spirit's giving it to me, that there was a little bit of a mouse issue at one of my jobs, and one time I found a mouse who had sadly met his demise simply because he crawled into a vase and it was slippery and he couldn't make his way out. And there's something to that. It's almost as if there's this feeling of being trapped. There's this feeling of no way out for you, and trying to understand, maybe you're trying to understand how you got into this situation in the first place, and that it's doubly more frustrating because it's a clear bottle and you can see the outside. It's almost like you can see your freedom and it's within your reach, and yet it's so far away. It seems like an impossible mile. There's this juxtaposition, though, that Spirit is giving me just with these 2 things, which is this sense that it's like the way to enter into this vehicle is with the power of your mind, that your mind creates your reality, that somehow through a space of prayer or meditation or contemplation, if you can imagine your freedom, so it shall be. I think this is the message, that the bottle for you, the Spirit is saying that the bottle for you is simply illusory. It's an illusion. It's almost like if you feel that the bottle is there and you can't get out, then it's there and you can't get out. I'm going to pull from the Muse Tarot 3 cards just to get a general reading for what your dreams might be telling you how to solve this situation. Oh my God, look at this card. Look at this card. Spirit does not make mistakes when I pull cards. I'm sorry, they just don't. They just don't. All right, one more. Thank you, Spirit. I wasn't even going to use this deck today, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to break out the Muse deck. I haven't seen it in a long time. Okay, so I want to show you something. I'm going to show you all the cards just visually. So we find ourselves still, yet again, in this glass vase, this jar. It's amazing, right? It's just amazing, the synchronicity. It's like blowing my mind right now. We find ourselves in this, and then this struggle to kind of, you know, climb our way out. And then here we are reunited with friends and freedom, right? So what are your dreams trying to tell you in terms of solving this situation, this feeling of being trapped? Short and sweet, being trapped, being bottled in, boxed in, on display, perhaps, on display. And I gotta tell you, like, this little character, he seems very modest. He's not much to look at. Now, I'm not saying that you're not much to look at. I'm saying this is maybe how you've been feeling. There's not much to look at, and yet everything is on display somehow. Everything can be seen somehow. Has there been some kind of situation for you recently where you were in front of a group of people making a speech or presentation, and you felt ill-prepared or ill-informed? You had to do it on the fly, maybe. It's almost like there's this nakedness or there's bareness. That's kind of an adjacent message, but that's what I'm picking up on. I also interpret this as an empty bottle too. So whatever this vessel was meant to hold, it's holding something else now. That seems significant. Why is that significant? So it's like ill-fitting, like the bottle was meant to hold some kind of liquid, for example, but now it's holding some kind of creature. It's like the form does not necessarily follow the function. You know that expression, form follows function? Who said that expression? Somebody said that expression. I think it was an artist. Duchamp? Maybe it was Duchamp. Very famous artist. Did he say form follows function? No, I can't remember. I would look it up. I feel like it's relevant. Form follows function. Form does not follow function right now for you. And maybe it's driving you crazy. Like that parameters or things are being redefined in your world, and it doesn't make sense. This is bringing up a lot of conversations that, you know, I went to art school and in critical theory classes in art school, they make you think about it. It's critical theory. They make you think about everything. And so if I drew a picture and there were 4 lines and a line across, and I made it look like a standard table. I present the picture to you and I say, okay, well, this is a table. And then I'd say, well, no, if I hike myself up onto it and sit down, now it's a chair. And what if I decide to lay down on it? Well, now it's a bed. What if I decide to break it in half? Now it's broken, right? So, but what is it? What is it that's broken? We're constantly naming things and then redefining them. Something in your life is being repurposed, redefined. The context is out of place, and it's making you feel small, ill-prepared. So I don't know if like some kind of this situation has already happened, and your dreams are trying to provide you with like possible ways of addressing this issue in your life. It's not that like the rug's going to be pulled out from under you in anytime soon. That's not what I do here. I'm not predictive like that. But this is what Spirit is giving me. The Four of Emotions here. We can see this person once again and looking rather put out, perplexed, tired. I see tired too. Four of Emotions, Four of Cups talks about situations where you can't see like the silver lining. And you're looking at the Three Cups there and not being able to see this fourth cup that Spirit wants to provide. You can see here too the two faces. So it's all about perspective. Do you see the two faces or do you see the cup within? It's all about your perspective. You know, like, and I think that right now Spirit is telling me that you find it difficult to see your way out. Because one, you're looking down, you don't see that the rim is, you're able to jump out at any time, but you can't see it right now. The path eludes you. And that could be purposeful, right? There could be still some lessons that need to be worked through. Thank you, Spirit. I'm going to get a clarifier. What lessons, Spirit? The Nine of Inspiration. Maintain your resiliency, your inner core, your inner power, your strength, your sense of self, your confidence, your allure. Nine of Inspiration, Nine of Wands. The wounded warrior living to fight another day, not giving up. Not only not giving up, but like looking amazing while you do it. It's like, I hear that song that goes, ain't nothing gonna break my stride, nobody gonna slow me down, I've got to keep on moving. I'm sure you've heard of that song. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride, nobody gonna slow me down, oh no, I've got to keep on moving. It's playing in my head right now. Spirit is showing me this resiliency that you have. Don't give up. The answers may elude you. You may not see that fourth cup of love and creativity and empathy and compassion that is coming your way. That fourth cup of friendship and camaraderie. You may not be able to see it right now, but it's almost as if like I see you in a situation like this, and way in the distance, it's like your friends are saying, pile two, we're coming, we're coming, we're coming, don't worry, we're coming, but you can't hear them. Keep going, keep trying, right? With the Five of Inspiration here in the reverse, Five of Inspiration can seriously talk about working against ourselves. Just because I interpret all of these characters as like the same character. It's like battle, stepping all over ourselves, internal battles, working against ourselves, working against the tides, second guessing, right? It's often also known as a card of training, right? What are the fives in the tarot, or fives in general, or are numbers of, it's a number of transition. So you're in this process of transition where you're elevating out of it, but you have to go through the process. Like, we can't skip ahead. There's no skipping ahead. But the card is in reverse, so it's almost like saying that you're getting to the finish line. It's almost like, see? It's like, this is like the finish line. It's funny too, because the finish line seems like it's behind her, but it's almost like you're turning around one last time to look at the crowd as you make your way towards the finish line. And not ironically, we end with the Four of Inspiration, which is the card of firm foundation. 4 wands, the 4 legs of a table, also known as the 1111 card. Here we come together to celebrate each other, celebrate our connection. Turn to your soul tribe if you're feeling isolated at this time. They might not be able to help you out of a single problem, but Spirit is saying their mere presence, their loving embrace, their kind words, their listening ear is what's going to elevate you out of a stuck situation. So that's your reading, pile 2. I hope that it resonated. I'll catch you next time. Welcome, pile 3. You chose the ladder card that just got knocked out of my hand. It was very strange. Why did that? I felt like it just got knocked out of my hand. The ladder. It's coupled with this crystal that I chose. This is a crystal called Jet. It's very dark black, very dense crystal. And, you know, anytime you see black crystals, they're crystals of protection. They are also for grounding. It's very strange, though, that like it's like the more that I hold on to it, the lighter it becomes. It feels it usually feels kind of weighty to me, but it feels very light right now. Light and almost like bouncy. It feels kind of bouncy in my hand. So, because it's also a heart shape, I think there's a part of you that saw this and you're just like, yes, black like my heart, cold and dark and unfeeling. Right, for some of you out there, it's like, yes, I identify with that. But because it feels kind of light and bouncy in my hand right now, it's like, oh, I feel like pile 3 wants to kind of soften out a little bit and maybe thaw out a little bit, if that's something that you resonated with. That there's a part of you that just wants to be kind of ooey gooey, kind of melty. I don't know why I'm using these words, ooey gooey, melty, fluffy, bouncy. These are like very strange words to use with this, but this is what I'm getting. It's like maybe there's a part of you that's just, I mean, honestly, and just take this as it resonates. If you looked at this and you're just like, yes, like my black cold heart, it's kind of like exhausting to be like that. Right? It's definitely exhausting to be fake happy, and I never recommend that. But it's also exhausting to just be weighed down by moodiness or sadness all the time. It's exhausting. The problem is, how do we lift ourselves up out of that, right? But I almost feel as though like you are lifting yourself up out of it somehow. And there's so little to this image. There's a ladder that doesn't feel like it's grounded. It almost feels like the ladder is being lowered down. And then there's this random cord here. Something left behind. You're elevating yourself. And you're leaving something behind. Something that might have held you. Now, because now I see hands being tied, like something, like shackles, like the rope is like where your shackles. And you're just leaving that behind. And maybe it has to do with this sense of depression or sadness or weightedness that you're just letting go of. Ladders are very significant, right? But they can also be very fragile. Yes, they're used for elevation and for lowering, but they can also be very fragile. I've been on many ladders in my life, actually, because I've worked retail and other, I've worked hospitality, and sometimes you have to hang posters and get boxes off of tall shelves, and I've been on ladders many times. And as much as I, double check, triple check to make sure that I'm stable, it's like, once you're on a ladder, it's kind of up to you and your body weight and how you shift yourself and where you step. Everything has to be very, very carefully coordinated. But the fact that there isn't even a person depicted in this image, but it's like the suggestion of a person, almost tells me that you've left the scene. You've raised yourself up to whatever level you need to get to. But I think you're trying to understand it still. What do you mean ooey gooey, fuzzy, light, airy, bouncy? I'm not used to that, right? I'm not used to that feeling. I'm used to cold and dark and unfeeling. I get 3 cards from the Muse Tarot. It's almost like, where do we, the young person's game, when I was growing up, children's game. Why did I say young person's game? A kid's game. When I was growing up was Chutes and Ladders. So, that's interesting. I'm being reminded of that game because there were moments where you could climb up ladders, and then there were moments where the ladder was just like something you could slide down. As far as I remember, it was a long time ago. That could be significant for you, Chutes and Ladders. So, kind of asking Spirit here, because this is a message about what your dreams are trying to tell you. There could be these situations where maybe it's not an actual ladder that you're climbing in your dream, but you could be on an escalator. You could be on an elevator. You could be floating on a cloud. You could be in an airplane. Something that ascends and descends, if you've had dreams like that, right? Kind of talking about, okay, well, when I said ascends, descends, when I said ascends, I think of spiritual ascension, right? Raising ourselves up spiritually. And what does that mean? Just getting ever closer and closer to our own divinity, to the understanding that we are all connected, truly connected to each other and to the universe. that we have higher purpose. All of us have purpose. Even the person that you hate, and hate is a strong word, most in the world, they serve a purpose. Sometimes it's a small one, sometimes it's an overbearing one, but everyone has a purpose. You might not agree with that purpose, but it's there. So if you're having dreams where you're kind of changing elevations, part of that could be you trying to access those higher elevations, like the astral realm, like the Akashic records, right? Different dimensions. Heady stuff. I've had very personal encounters with both, and it changes you. Like, you cannot enter into astral travel and come out the same person when you realize you can, like, literally leave your body for a little bit and just go on a little jaunt and come back in your body. You're not the same person after an experience like that. I've only astral traveled truly once, and I think it's because Spirit wanted me to have that glimpse into fearlessness, or facing a fear and then just surrendering and showing me what that looked like, so that when I came back to this earthly plane, I didn't have a fear of dying or death anymore. It's not to say I don't fear it completely, but I also have never been more sure that there is life after death because of my astral experience. So these could be big issues for you, kind of running through your dream space right now, and like, who knows what to make of it, right? We start here with the Seven of Voices, or the Seven of Swords in reverse. You can see here, this is the card in the upright where things are kind of sunshiny and bright and the door is wide open. But we see these two little foxes, right? Foxes are a little sneaky. The Seven of Swords, or this, so Spirit just honked the horn when I said sneaky. Interesting. Okay, so I was talking about this doorway. It's like portal energy and sneakiness. So if you're somebody who resonates with this reading and you have done some exploration, which I assume many of you have, into esoteric arts, maybe you have tried astral travel, maybe you have tried communicating to pass away loved ones in your dreams. It is even more important to ground yourself and to have items of protection around you, because doors can allow people in and they can allow people to leave, right? So if you open a door, you want to make sure that you are kind of controlling for yourself who comes in and out. So there's this sneaky energy, because the Seven of Swords can be a card of a little bit of sneakiness, not trying to cause trouble, but also trying to get away with something. So in your dream realm, if you have dreams about open doors, make sure that you are able to shut them behind you, right? Kind of secure yourself. And that seems kind of like crazy to say, because it's just like, some people cannot control, they don't have lucid dreams, they can't control what they do in their dreams. But now that I've pointed it out to you, Spirit wanted me to point it out to you, just be cognizant of that. Even before you go to bed and you say prayer, meditation, or just affirmation, manifestation, whatever it is that you do, if you have a practice, ask Spirit to provide you answers through your dreams, but also protection. right? Because we draw upon spirit and all spirits to help us, but ask them to provide you protection, because you got this card in reverse. And in reverse, the situation, the foxes look like they're laughing, right? And she looks rather, her brow is furrowed and she looks unhappy, almost as if, you know, it's almost like she's been found out. She's been discovered. She's been uncovered. Right? So there's this little aspect of sneakiness. It also could be describing something somebody got away with. Maybe that was you. Maybe you got away with something. Take it as it resonates. Maybe you got out of a situation that was, it's not getting away with something, but maybe you got out of a situation that just was not serving you. I recently had that experience. Just like, cut the cords, say goodbye, elevate ourselves, focus on ourselves, focus on leveling up. With the Four of Emotions here, it could be difficult for you to see. Four of Emotions, Four of Cups, talks about this huge cup that Spirit wants to bring in that we cannot see. It feels invisible to us. We're looking at the 3 cups that we have, and we're somewhat satisfied. 3 cups is not bad. The 3 of Cups in the tarot is celebration, friendship, you know, coming together of a group of people to celebrate, to recognize. But there's this sense of apathy, complacency here. Not thinking that that you're meant for more. When Spirit is saying, on the contrary, you're meant for greatness. You're meant to climb as high as you wish to climb, as high as you wish to climb. They cannot climb for you. They can only guide you and help you, but it has to be your free will, your wish to climb. Spirit is showing me a really intense image right now, because I saw this video online back in the 80s, 1986, I want to say. NASA, space agency, suffered one of its most horrific losses with the Space Shuttle Challenger. And this video I was watching talked about this lady who was like a backup astronaut to Krista McAuliffe, who was the teacher that was chosen to be aboard the Challenger as part of that mission. She was the backup to Krista McAuliffe, and she was watching from 3 miles away, like Cape Canaveral. She was watching the Challenger go up. She trained just as all the other astronauts did. She trained because just in case somebody couldn't go, she could step in. And she watched the Challenger go up without her and then meet its fate. And one could think, wow, if I had been on that shuttle, I would have perished too. And I don't think I want to be in this line of work anymore. But this lady doubled down, and she continued to train to be an astronaut, and she eventually went up into space on another mission. So while that was such a horrific circumstance, she didn't let that stop her. And for some reason, Spirit is giving that to me right now. It's like, you face adversity, but you're going to double down on it, and you're going to come back better than ever. That's what Spirit is showing me. You can't see it right now, though. You can't see it right now, but it's there. And in the reading, you got the 7 of Materials, or the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. What's interesting here, the 7 of Pentacles is just this image of like kind of going into space, right? 7 of Pentacles is a card that talks about the investment that we've made into something. We've cultivated something. We've planted the seeds. We've cultivated something. We've watched it come to harvest, to fruition. And now we're at this place where, you know, is it worth it? Should I continue on with this harvest? Like, it was so much work. Do I want to keep going? Do I want to keep going? Right? And for you, this, I don't see this as you saying, oh, I give up on it. I see this as you making a decision one way or the other. And I don't know what that decision is. I'm going to pull a card to clarify. But what I do see is that you're not confused about it anymore. What is this decision that pile 3 has made, Spirit? 6 of Inspiration in reverse. You're not going to continue on with whatever you did. You're going to pursue something else. You're going to pursue something else, right? So now I understand that this cord cutting is leaving something behind. Could be a job, a relationship, a town, a mentality. You're in search of the recognition. You're in search of the, you know, sometimes this can be fame and fortune. So if you've, you know, started up a social media thing and it didn't work out for you, it's not that you're giving up on social media. It's that you're just saying, you know what, I'm going to close that account because it didn't really speak to what I want to talk about. It didn't really convey my style and my message, and you know, I made so many mistakes and I'm just going to start over. So it's not like you're giving up on it. You're going to double down and you're going to say, I'm going to invest and come back better than ever. But right now, because I pulled these 2 cards, it's kind of like saying the investment that you've made so far, you're great. While you're grateful for it, it's not yielding the result that you wish that it would. And so I feel as though you're kind of letting that go now. And it seems to be reinforced by this ladder. I almost feel as though you're going to be waving goodbye to something in your dreams. And the reason I say that is because Spirit is showing me an image of a dream that I had that was very, I probably had that dream at this point 5 or 6 years ago. I will never forget it. And in that dream, I was waving goodbye to somebody. It was as clear as day. I was waving goodbye. And I feel Spirit is bringing that to my attention because you might be waving goodbye to somebody in your dreams so that you can elevate. This is what you're meant to do. It's your choice. But I think you're following your path. And I saw 5252 on my clock as I said that. You're following your path. So that's your reading, pile 3. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you.